Hey everyone, Jessie here with parkbench.com. Today I have the pleasure of interviewing Chip Barkel, real estate agent with eXp Realty and sponsor and ambassador of a local community website all about Willowdale in Toronto. Hey Chip, how are you doing today?
Very well. Thanks, Jesse.
Good, thanks for joining. Looking forward to getting to know you a little bit more today.
Absolutely.
So to get started, why don't you tell us a little bit more about why you decided to become a real estate agent?
Well, I was in the information technology field. I was a teacher first and taught in business, but real estate was always kind of the road not taken. There was something about it that just never left. And then at a certain point, I thought, well, why not make a career change and do that? It was kind of a passion, and that's what I did.
Wonderful. And what is it you think that really makes you stand out as an agent against all other agents?
Well, service and making it personal. It's funny, a lot of people think, and I've heard this from clients of mine as well, is I don't want this to be an emotional decision. I was like, it absolutely should be an emotional decision. It's where you're going to live. That's emotional. I mean, what could be more emotional? One of my taglines that I use is extraordinary service, top results. So really, I'm service oriented, relationship oriented, and that's really, I go the extra mile. So that's really what I think is the benefit.
Amazing. And I completely agree with you. I'm like, I think this is a very big decision for a lot of people. Obviously, emotions are going to get involved to make sure you're making the right choice. So that's great to hear. So,
Yes.
with working with different clients, I'm sure you've had some memorable experiences. Do you have like a memorable experience you could think of when it comes to working with real estate clients?
I do. I had an elderly couple in my neighborhood. She was always in the garden, and I would, I didn't know them at first, but kind of got to know them. I would drop off material, and we got talking, and um, she said I could never move into a condo because I loved a garden. And we talked about, well, there's a neighborhood garden on my street. And, so we kind of got to know one another. And she confided in me, people are always knocking on the door trying to get me to sell my house. And, I don't trust them. My hairs on the back of my neck stand up. But then she put her hand on my arm and said, but you I trust, and so I'd taken the time to get to know her. And then one day she said, I had a knock at the door and they wanted to buy my house for $1.9 million. And I was like, well, to be perfectly honest, it's not a bad price. Like, that's a pretty good price, and you've been here for 60 years, so, the HST would not cover what you paid, So, reality. But I said, is it the best price? You want to hire somebody who's going to work for you, not against you. And, it's like going to an auction. You don't want to take the first bid. Somebody's knocking on the door saying, so, I said, even if you end up only getting $50,000 more, where I come from, $50,000 is a lot of money. It's like, hello, it's like, that's not, chump change. So I said, you want to market your home properly. You want to hire a realtor that's going to represent your interests, not the buyer's interests.
Yeah.
And we ended up listing their home and selling it not for 1.9 million, which they were offered, but selling it for 2.25 million, which was 350,000 more than they were offered. And the
Wow.
irony of it, it was the very same agent that brought the 2.25 offer that had offered the 1.9. So it was a
Oh, wow.
win-win. And my client was 93 years old. So, she was actually older than I thought. I said to her, I thought you were probably mid 80s. And she said, oh, that's the nicest thing someone said in a while. So, yeah, so that was a real win-win. I was really glad because they were there for 60 years. It was a huge investment. And so I
Yeah.
was glad to facilitate that and work as, as a team to
Mhm.
get the most money and the best terms possible.
Yeah, that's so great and definitely speaks volumes to who you are as an agent. I think that comfort piece is so important
Mhm.
because I think with a lot of people who have really great homes, the amount of real estate agents that will come knocking to talk about it, it can be hard to sift through who is the best fit to work with. So that's really
Absolutely.
amazing that she could feel that connection with you.
The irony of it is right around the same time that she called me and we started that conversation, I had another call from somebody on my street that said pretty much the same thing. Somebody knocked on my door and they offered me, 1.8 million. And I said, and basically told her the same thing, we don't know what is the best price. And she said, well, I'm old, I accepted it, they kind of beat me down. And so I kind of felt like closing the barn door after, we don't know, we will never know whether they left money on the table.
Yeah.
Now they're comfortable with that amount, great, more power to you.
Yeah.
But that definitely, showed that there's, the first person I was talking about, they did their due diligence and
Yeah.
they were rewarded for doing that.
Yeah. I think that's really important. That's a really great story. So outside of real estate, what do you like to do for fun?
Well, I'm a writer. I've written a murder mystery, which is yet to be published. But I tease that it's a murder mystery about my family, and that sometimes scares people. But it's fiction. I let people know it's fiction. But there was kind of a little jumping off point that was true, and I kind of used that. So that was kind of fun. Hopefully, one of my goals is to get that published. I like to bicycle. I'm interested in genealogy, hence the kind of family tie-in. And and food. I'm a bit of a foodie, so I like to cook, that kind of thing.
Nice. So what is it you love most about both living and working in the Willowdale area?
Well, it's a great location. I used to live downtown, and that was great at that time, And at one point I jokingly said, "Oh, geez, it's north of the 401."
Yeah.
But it's very convenient. It's 401 Young Street. It's a little bit more suburban, so a little bit more room, nicer backyard. Originally it was we wanted to be able to have a driveway and a garage. So it's like, okay. And living downtown, there was a period of time that the city was on strike, so we couldn't even get a building permit to build a garage. We had a driveway. So I jokingly said, well, why don't we just buy a house with a garage? Like, so, hello, So started looking and decided that, Willowdale it's a great location, great neighbors. It's peaceful, quiet, lots of trees. So there's lots of reasons that.
Nice. So you obviously are connected to this community. You're connected to Willowdale, and you sponsored this community website that's all about supporting small business, shopping local. So why is that something that's so important to you? Why do you think it's so important for all of us to support the community and to shop small businesses?
Well, it's your community. I mean, it seems pretty simple, but if you don't patronize your community and the businesses, they won't be there. And it's getting to know people. There's lots of reasons. So it's you don't want to take these for granted. The big box stores are great and they can be convenient, but I always say I like to shop at stores and restaurants that are run by real people.
Yeah.
And it's true. The mom and pop shops and the people that pour hours and hours of their work into, and they're investing in the community as well. So I think it's incumbent on us to patronize them.
Yeah. And I think it really is telling to who you are as a real estate agent that you do focus so much on building relationships and growing that network with other people more so than just buying and selling real estate. And I think this ties
That's
into
right.
that really well.
That's right. Well, there's an interesting tie-in to that as well. I met someone who had a home in the neighborhood, and it was an estate sale, so she didn't live around here. And she was originally going to use an agent that lived like, let's say, an hour away. And I said to her, I live in the neighborhood, I know the neighborhood, I'm able to price it. And I said to her, that same line that I used before, even if we only get $50,000 more, that's good. That's good money.
Yeah.
So I ended up selling her house. We ended up getting about 100,000 more than she expected. So that was kind of a win. But literally the day we sold her house, another house very close by, same size house. It was, it was a estate sale. It was a, similar, comparable property. And it sold for exactly $50,000 less. And I looked up the agent. It was an agent, again, an hour away, not from Willowdale. And it was my client that said to me, "Now look at that. There's that $50,000 that you mentioned." It wasn't like I have a crystal ball, but it's kind of a good example of saying, you know what, I'm on your side. I know Willowdale. I know when people ask, well, are there ravines or parks or, what's there to do here? I know the community centers. I know the conveniences, and that's important.
Yeah, I completely agree. That's great. Well, this has been so good getting to know you. Thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me today.
Thank you. It's been great.
Yeah, of course. Well, for everyone watching, thanks for watching. Once again, this was Chip Barkel, real estate agent with eXp Realty. Be sure to check out his local community website at parkbench.com/Willowdale. And if you have a local business and you'd like to be featured, reach out to him today. Thanks so much for your time today, Chip. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you, Jesse. You too. Take care.